The Pentagon has a plan for a military invasion of Greenland and Panama. In Los Angeles, a Democratic senator was led away in handcuffs right during a press conference. Northern Ireland is in flames after a miner was raped by migrants. Mass protests and riots have erupted. Israel has struck Iran's nuclear facilities. The war in the Middle East has already begun. And Putin is forming strategic reserves for war, not only against Ukraine. Greetings. My name is Karina Klishun, and right now, here are the top stories. But first, like this video if you support Ukraine, and subscribe to our channel so we don't lose touch with you on YouTube. The US Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, did not rule out the forcible seizure of Greenland and the Panama Canal. He stated directly that the Pentagon has plans for any scenario, even an invasion of Denmark. At the same time, Hegseth decided not to discuss specific plans publicly.
That's right. So Panama is a very key territory that we have focused on, and we were ready to focus on it just like Greenland. That's why we have to seize it by military force. They are important. I'm not going to argue with that. The Arctic is incredibly important. What I do argue with is using our military to seize it by force. Our job at the Department of Defense is to have plans. We have a plan for that. Our job at the Department of Defense is to have plans for any specific scenario, including the case of an actual invasion of Denmark. Whatever scenario you need, we have it. We have a whole building full of planners, and we're ready to provide recommendations whenever necessary.
So, is it just around the corner? A new war? Meanwhile, Democratic Senator Alex Padilla was forcibly removed from a press conference in Los Angeles after he tried to ask a question to Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem. According to him, he came in peace, just to ask a question, but was immediately detained.
Be careful. Chew it to the civilians, Dan will. See, sir, he's up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have a question for the Secretary, because the fact of the matter is, there are half a dozen violent criminals who are rotating on your watch.
Not only was he removed from the room, but he was also forced to the floor.
She's warming up. Turn her over. To your line. I'm coming in. All right, I'm coming in. July. Outside. Thank you.
Later, the senator was released. He said that he had a briefing with the military, and when he found out that Noem was there, in the same building, he decided to join her press conference dedicated to immigration issues. However, as we can see, instead of a discussion, handcuffs. That's American freedom of speech for you. Meanwhile, in Northern Ireland, anti-migrant protests have not subsided for the third day. It all started in the town of Ballymena on the evening of June 9, after a minor girl was raped by migrants. The protests quickly escalated into mass riots. Protesters are throwing stones, firecrackers, and Molotov cocktails at the police. In response, the police are using water cannons, tear gas, and rubber bullets. After the rape, the family of the suspected migrants was taken by the authorities to a migration center in the city of Larne. Local residents set it on fire. Anti-migration protests continue. Last night, Israel launched a massive strike on Iran. Explosions and large fires engulfed military bases and nuclear facilities in Tehran. I can't talk, I have a call. Yo. The Israeli Minister of Defense declared a state of emergency. The country has begun the urgent mobilization of tens of thousands of reservists. Israelis are being advised to stock up on food, buckwheat, and warm clothing. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu stated that a strike was delivered directly to the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program and that facilities related to Iran's missile program were attacked. But it wasn't just the facilities that were targeted. Their military forces were also struck. High-ranking Iranian commanders were lured into a meeting and eliminated en masse, delivering a deadly blow. The New York Times reports that Israel struck at least 6 military bases on the outskirts of Tehran. Footage has appeared online showing attacks on Iranian air defense systems and ballistic missile launchers during today's operation. It is noted that the strikes were also carried out from within Iranian territory. Thank you. Similar to the security service of Ukraine's Operation Pavutiana Spiderweb.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
The media report that Mossad agents created a covert drone base near Tehran even before the conflict began. On the night of the attack, these drones were activated and struck the surface-to-surface missile launchers at the Asfakabat military basin of the main sites that posed a threat to Israel. It is also known that Iran is officially withdrawing from nuclear negotiations with the United States. Trump also reported this.
2 months ago, I gave Iran 60 days to make a deal. They were supposed to do it. Today is the 61st day I told them what to do, but they couldn't. Maybe now they have a second chance.
According to the Times of Israel, Israel has been preparing a special operation against Iran for years. Iran, for its part, is planning to respond harshly to Israel's attack. The Israeli military operation will last at least 2 weeks. From now on, the threat from Russia will not be limited to Ukraine. As stated by Ukraine's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Andriy Sybiha, Russia has begun preparing strategic reserves, which means it is planning combat operations not only in Ukraine. This information comes from Ukrainian intelligence.
The Allies need full diplomatic mobilization to stop this war. This is not just a matter for Ukraine. Putin only understands strength, so it is crucial now to impose sanctions in a timely manner, using them as an economic weapon to put pressure on Russia.
The minister emphasized that now is the time to once again initiate the process of recognizing Russia as a terrorist state. And Moscow's response to Ukraine's peace proposals and collective peace efforts is escalation and terror. Moreover, as Sybiha stated, Ukraine is not interested in continuing negotiations with Moscow unless there is a substantive discussion about a ceasefire.
We need negotiations where decisions are made, where issues are resolved. Right now we see that the most recent round of talks that took place in Istanbul essentially came down to discussing exchanges. That's why we are interested in a meeting at the presidential level, and we are ready for such a meeting. We will see what happens next. The most important thing for us is to bring peace closer. For us, the key thing right now is achieving a ceasefire, stopping the shelling. The country has demonstrated that it never was, is not, and will never be an obstacle to peace, to achieving peace.
Peace, a just peace, without manipulation, that is all Ukraine demands. The Russian dictator Vladimir Putin has announced the creation of unmanned systems forces in Russia as a separate branch of the military.
We need to ensure their deployment and development is as fast and high quality as possible. We know how the enemy operates, but overall, I don't think we're lagging behind in any way here. Moreover, I believe we've gained valuable experience to create this branch of the military.
I would like to know that in Ukraine, the unmanned systems forces were established back in 2024. At that time, Russia also decided it needed to do the same, and now they are converting the civilian airport in Kerch into a military one. From there, they will be able to launch UAVs against Ukraine. This is reported in a piece by the Schemes Project. Journalists report that the Kerch airport is located in the east of occupied Crimea. In March 2025, it changed its designation from civilian to military. This is evidenced by data from the Russian State Real Estate Register and satellite images that were obtained and analyzed by Schemes. They show large-scale work being carried out on the airfield grounds.
A satellite photo from Planet Labs indicates that the conversion of the Kerch airport is still ongoing.
Additionally, aviation expert Anatoly Krapchinsky specifically pointed out areas where, according to him, air defense systems could potentially be deployed in the future. The runway itself has not been altered. In Krapchinsky's opinion, the Russian authorities are reconstructing the Kerch airport to turn it into yet another site for launching Shahad-type drones at mainland Ukraine. And now, attention, NATO is switching to all-seeing eye mode. The alliance is expanding its satellite surveillance capabilities and can now monitor, in particular, Ukraine and Russia's borders with Eastern European countries. So now any troop movement, any maneuver, even things that are being concealed will be as plain as day. This was stated in an interview with Bloomberg by NATO's Supreme Allied Commander Transformation, Pierre Van de. Today, we are not sure that the Russians will stop at Ukraine. We will be able to tell them, we see you. And if anyone still doubted that Russia would stop at Ukraine, here is a direct signal for you, it will not stop, because Moscow's bloodthirsty appetites are not limited to one place. Meanwhile, Volodymyr Zelensky stated that Ukraine plans to develop joint arms production with Germany, specifically based on Ukrainian military-industrial technologies.
We had a detailed discussion about our cooperation. There are agreements on additional investments in the defense industry both in Ukraine and in Germany, including in long-range capabilities. There should be, and will be, even more of it. Germany is undoubtedly one of the key leaders in providing assistance and protecting lives. We sincerely appreciate every support package. For this year, we already have 7 billion euros, and there could be even more. Thank you.
According to Zelensky, we cannot share our technologies with all partners because we know there is a risk that they could end up somewhere from which aggression might later come. But we trust Germany. They claimed they were ready to capture Kyiv in 3 days, but they broke their teeth on Ukrainian resilience. Now, this is what the face of Putin's war looks like. Vladivostok, Russia. There are so many graves that they can't keep up with maintaining them because every day they have to dig new ones.
Damn, how many guys are there, right?
Everything looks so miserable.
Seriously, look how many of them there are, damn. There are just tons.
They say my spot is next to that little car.
Vuhledar, Chasiv Yar, Vovchansk, the places these people died, Furare, almost 10,000 kilometers away from this cemetery. In about 20 years, locals will come here and wonder why so many people died. Why were they sent to the other side of the world? But Putin doesn't stop and keeps assuring everyone that war is nothing to be afraid of. And he tells the soldiers that there's no need to fear death.
And immortality is expressed in the victories of our country.
The dictator is losing his mind and the whole world is just watching. Bravo. Like this video to support what we do and be sure to subscribe to our channel Ukraine Today so you don't miss the next episodes. See you.